In the wake of the unexpected closure of the Thornton Township building, one figure has come under significant scrutiny: Tiffany Henyard, one of the township's trustees. Henyard, a well-known political figure in the community, has long been regarded as a person who was supposed to be at the forefront of ensuring that township services are available to the public. However, her recent actions, or lack thereof, have sparked a serious conversation about accountability, leadership, and whether she is truly living up to the expectations placed on her as an elected official. Tiffany Henyard has held her position as trustee for several years, and throughout that time, she has been viewed by some as a promising figure in local politics. Known for her advocacy on behalf of marginalized groups, including low-income families, seniors, and other vulnerable populations, Henyard has often positioned herself as a champion for social justice. She has been active in pushing for policies that aim to improve access to resources, education, and healthcare for those who need it most. Her work has been commended by many, especially for her tireless efforts to secure better programs for underprivileged residents in Thornton Township. However, the recent events surrounding her absence at the critical meeting of the township's trustees have raised several serious questions. Tiffany Henyard and the other trustees' failure to show up for a meeting that was vital to the functioning of the township has left many questioning her commitment to her role and the responsibilities that come with it. As a trustee, Henyard was expected to attend the meeting and make decisions on behalf of the residents she serves. The fact that none of the trustees attended this meeting has resulted in a cascade of disruptions that negatively impacted the residents. This failure to attend could be seen as a failure of leadership, especially in a time when residents rely heavily on the services that the township provides. For those who rely on the township's services, such as senior citizens who depend on transportation programs or families in need of public assistance, this is not just a minor issue. The closure of the township building meant that many services were halted, and people who had appointments or needed urgent help were left without the support they so desperately need. These are the very people who voted for Tiffany Henyard and the other trustees, entrusting them with the responsibility of managing resources effectively and providing for the well-being of the community. This event has not only left residents frustrated, but it has also led many to question Henyard's professionalism and dedication. When she first ran for trustee, Henyard presented herself as someone who would be accountable to the people and work tirelessly to ensure that no one in the community would be left behind. But now, after her absence from such an important meeting, it seems as though she may not have lived up to those promises. Is she fulfilling her role, or is she allowing personal or professional issues to get in the way of her duties as a trustee? The lack of transparency surrounding her absence has only fueled the growing concern. Tiffany Henyard and the other trustees have not yet provided a clear explanation for why they failed to attend this critical meeting. Was it due to a scheduling conflict, or was there something else at play? Residents deserve an answer, and the community is demanding that the trustees, especially Henyard, provide one. It's not just about the meeting that was missed, it's about understanding why this failure occurred and what steps will be taken to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Accountability is crucial in local government, and Tiffany Henyard is being asked to demonstrate it in the face of growing public frustration. In addition to the immediate issues surrounding her failure to attend the meeting, Tiffany Henyard is facing a larger challenge to her credibility as a public servant. As a trustee, Henyard holds significant power and influence over the township's operations, from approving budgets to making decisions about the allocation of resources. But if she is seen as someone who is unreliable or unresponsive to the needs of the community, it raises larger questions about her ability to lead. The community is now asking whether Henyard is the right person to hold such a critical role. If she cannot be trusted to attend meetings or show up when needed, how can the residents trust her to make important decisions on their behalf beyond just her attendance? Henyard's handling of this situation will determine her political future. If she fails to address the concerns of her constituents or offer an explanation for her actions, she risks losing the trust of the people who voted for her. And in local politics, trust is everything. Politicians who fail to meet the expectations of their voters often find themselves facing serious consequences, whether it's losing support or being voted out of office. Tiffany Henyard may be at a crossroads in her political career, and how she handles the fallout from this incident could determine whether she remains a trusted figure in the township or becomes embroiled in scandal and controversy. It's important to note that the situation is not just about Tiffany Henyard's absence. It also reflects a deeper issue with the township's leadership as a whole. When elected officials fail to meet their basic responsibilities, it sets a concerning precedent. Are the other trustees in Thornton Township just as unreliable as Henyard? What safeguards are in place to ensure that meetings go forward, even if individual trustees are absent? These are all valid questions, and the answers will have a profound impact on the future of the township. If Tiffany Henyard is seen as part of a larger problem of neglect and poor governance, it could have long-term consequences for the township and its residents. Despite the current issues surrounding Tiffany Henyard's role, she still has a chance to turn things around and regain the trust of her constituents. While her absence at a critical meeting has raised significant concerns, it's important to remember that public officials are not without their opportunities to amend their actions. The true measure of leadership is not necessarily in the absence of mistakes, but rather in how one responds to those mistakes when they occur. In this case, Tiffany Henyard has an opportunity to address the concerns of the public and demonstrate that she is still committed to serving the people of Thornton Township. The first step toward recovery is accountability. If Henyard takes full responsibility for her failure to attend the meeting and explains the circumstances behind her absence, it could go a long way in rebuilding some of the trust that has been eroded. Transparency is key in situations like these, and the public is looking for answers. If Henyard can be open about what happened, whether it was due to a personal issue, a scheduling conflict, or a misunderstanding, she can show that she is willing to take ownership of her actions. Acknowledging the impact that her absence had on the community is important because it sends the message that she understands the consequences of her inaction. Furthermore, making a public commitment to better attendance and stronger leadership moving forward would demonstrate that Henyard is actively working to improve the situation. This could include a pledge to be more engaged in the future, prioritize communication with the public, and ensure that similar disruptions do not occur again. A leader who is willing to admit their mistakes and take proactive steps to correct them can often regain the confidence of their constituents. It shows maturity, accountability, and a genuine desire to do better for the people they serve. Tiffany Henyard's reputation as a trustee hinges on how she handles this situation in the aftermath. If she chooses to rise above this challenge, take responsibility, and make amends, she has the potential to emerge as a stronger and more respected leader. Public officials who are willing to admit their shortcomings and address them head-on often earn back the respect of their communities. People appreciate when their leaders are honest, transparent, and willing to learn from their mistakes. In Henyard's case, this could mean rebuilding her standing in the eyes of her supporters and potentially even attracting new voters who respect her for her courage to own up to her actions. On the other hand, if Henyard chooses to remain silent or avoid addressing the issue, it could have more severe consequences. Public officials who fail to acknowledge their mistakes or who refuse to take responsibility for their actions risk alienating their constituents. Tiffany Henyard's decision to remain silent or deflect blame would send a message that she is not fully invested in the well-being of the community or the trust placed in her position as trustee. It would also likely contribute to a further erosion of confidence, not just in her, but in the entire leadership of Thornton Township. Residents may begin to question whether they can rely on Henyard and other trustees to follow through on their commitments or show up when needed most. The longer Henyard avoids addressing the situation, the harder it will become to regain the public's trust. Silence in the face of such a controversy can lead to a perception of indifference or lack of accountability, which is often more damaging than the original mistake itself. When a public official avoids tough conversations, it suggests a reluctance to engage with the very people who elected them. This may ultimately lead to a loss of support, both from the public and from political allies, who may see Henyard as an ineffective leader. In local politics, where trust is foundational, a failure to act decisively can result in a decline in political capital and the potential for a loss of office. Over the next few weeks, Tiffany Henyard's actions or inaction will undoubtedly speak louder than any words could. The people of Thornton Township are closely watching to see how she handles the fallout from this closure. Will she step up to the plate, accept responsibility for the disruption caused, and begin taking concrete steps to prevent similar occurrences in the future? Or will she continue to avoid taking accountability, hoping the issue will simply fade away? For Tiffany Henyard, this is a defining moment in her political career. She has the chance to prove to her constituents that she is the leader they believed her to be when they voted her into office. She has the opportunity to show that she is not just a trustee by title, but also by action, a public servant who is fully engaged, responsive, and accountable to the needs of the community. The clock is ticking, and every day that goes by without a clear response from Tiffany Henyard will only make it more difficult for her to regain the trust of her constituents. The people of Thornton Township are asking tough questions, and they want answers. They are waiting to see if Henyard will take the necessary steps to address the crisis caused by her absence and the failure of the trustees to fulfill their duties. The situation is not just about one missed meeting, it's about accountability, responsibility, and whether Henyard is truly fit to represent her community. As a trustee, Henyard was entrusted with the responsibility of making decisions on behalf of the people of Thornton Township. Her role was one that required her to be present at meetings, engage in the decision-making process, and provide guidance to the township. By failing to attend a key meeting, she not only let down her colleagues, but also the people who elected her. Tiffany Henyard's absence at such a critical moment has shaken the faith of many in her leadership. However, the real test now lies in how she responds to the public outcry and whether she can demonstrate the accountability expected of a public official. If Tiffany Henyard chooses to make the right moves, she still has the potential to recover and regain the trust she has lost. The most crucial step in this process is taking accountability for her actions. Whether the absence was due to personal issues, misunderstandings, or miscommunication, Henyard needs to come forward with a clear explanation. Transparency is key in rebuilding trust. Residents are not just looking for a simple excuse. They want to understand why she failed to meet her obligations and what steps she will take to prevent this from happening again. By being honest and transparent, Henyard can show that she is genuinely committed to serving the public and fulfilling her duties as a trustee. Additionally, making a public commitment to better governance and improved attendance at future meetings could demonstrate Henyard's dedication to her role. People want to see that their elected officials are willing to learn from their mistakes and are committed to ensuring that they do not repeat them. By pledging to be more engaged, more communicative, and more present in the future, Henyard could begin to regain the faith of her constituents. It is important for Henyard to not only express these intentions, but to follow through with concrete actions that prove her words are not empty promises. The township's residents want to see results, and they want to know that their leaders are working on their behalf. Henyard's political future is intricately tied to how she handles this situation. If she fails to act decisively or continues to ignore the issue, the community may start to question her reliability as a public servant. If Tiffany Henyard fails to take the necessary steps to restore confidence in her leadership, the damage to her political career could be irreversible. Residents are already disappointed, and if Henyard does not respond to their concerns, she could lose the support she once had. Her time in office could be limited if voters lose faith in her ability to lead effectively. On the other hand, if Henyard addresses the situation head-on and takes the necessary steps to rebuild trust, she could emerge from this crisis stronger than before. Political careers are often shaped by how public officials respond to adversity, and Tiffany Henyard has an opportunity to show that she is not just another politician who shirks responsibility. She can demonstrate that she is a leader who is committed to doing what's best for the people, even when faced with difficult challenges. The stakes are high, and Tiffany Henyard's actions will undoubtedly shape the future of Thornton Township's leadership. The community is watching closely to see how she handles this situation, and it will have long-lasting consequences for her political career. Her legacy as a trustee is still in her hands, and how she chooses to navigate this crisis will determine whether she is remembered as a leader who overcame adversity or one who failed to rise to the occasion. The people of Thornton Township are looking for answers, and Tiffany Henyard has the power to shape how this chapter of her political journey unfolds.